Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamun alaikum and a good day to all of you. The title of my paper is Mantanas-a Daungan, a reflection of Maguindanaon cultural identity through the Bayuk. In this presentation, first I will deal with Bayuk in general, and then the one who sang Mantanas-a Daungan, that is Tangkli Benito, and then I will go over the content of Mantanas-a Daungan, and then I will make some textual analysis, and then finally the summary as well as the concluding remarks. What is Bayuk, by the way? As a prominent example of Maguindanaon folk speech, the Bayuk, or alternatively spelled with O, Bayuk, which represents both its singular and plural forms, is actually a lyric poetry, proverbs, and aphorisms. It's a Maguindanaon chant which is syllabic and tetrachordal, and as a chanted repartee or story, Bayuk usually encompasses such themes as praising a visitor or ruler, love affairs and marriage proposals, humorous and epic adventures, as well as notable events and innermost emotions. Robert Sullivan, in his Maguindanaon Dictionary, described Bayuk as a poem in song that relates a story, especially a love story, tone poem, enchanted poem. While Clemens Swain, in his Maguindanao folk songs, Songs of Life, he defined Bayuk as a song expressed indirectly by using many metaphors and proverbs. They are mostly used when singing about the most sensitive areas of love and religion. Thus, as the Maguindanaon language is brimming with metaphors and analogies, whenever extra care is needed to express a sensitive feeling or issue, it is conventionally done through Bayuk. Now, let's proceed to the one who recited Mantanas-a Daungan, the Pababayok or the Bayuk reciter. Tangkli Benito was a popular Maguindanaon ballad singer or Pababayok, born in 1932 in Daden, still undivided Maguindanao, Maganoy, Maguindanao. Some of his Bayuk works include Mandagan, which is a ballad about unrequited love, Ragya Samadaya, which is an epic ballad or epic Bayuk, and then Tudtulan sa Kinambakwit or story of internal displacement and evacuation, and many others actually. Now, how about the work itself, Mantanas-a Daungan? Actually, it's yet another popular Bayuk recited by Tangkli Benito. When I was a child, I remember my my mother, my aunts, and even my cousins listening to Mantanas-a Daungan and other Bayuk songs. It tells the story of a beautiful maiden named Daungan who is troubled by her unmarried status as she grows older. Now, despite her beauty and good qualities, she struggles to find a suitable match. The Bayuk or ballad reveals her sentiments and her suitor, Master Tintiago's efforts to win her hand in marriage. Now, how about Tintiago, the suitor? Tintiago is portrayed as an educated bachelor who expresses his deep affection for Daungan and emphasizes his suitability as a groom, highlighting his knowledge of the Quran and his fluency in multiple languages. What is indicated in the Bayuk is that he is well versed both in Tagalog and in English. However, Daungan's parents favor a wealthy businessman, suitor, over Tintiago, thereby reflecting a common Maguindanaon cultural theme where parents prioritize financial stability and dowries, what we call as bantingan or mahar in Arabic, over the personal preferences of their daughters.
Ayarati gidaungan na panunaku panundan na panunaku daraguna sa timpu daragay sa guna randara nanawino randara nanawino diaku dan pakadunduk na diaku pakagaluman ramatu aku dan tawa kena kuna bologan kamapi aku ababai nandara nanawino randara nanawino Ino basi daungan kanang sasangan atau kabanal papantayang katunggal budong dapetin nanara nanawino nanara nanawino isada pagi jaring kanagalangan samalis nanara nanana nama masulili senamati bumbung ibu bun namalung belang itong karena sampilung timatani napilu tikanggu mata nanara nanawino nanara nanawino.
What you have just listened is the first 1 minute introduction of Mantanas-a Daungan, wherein it is as if Mantanas-a Daungan expressing her sentiment over the current state that she is in. That although she possesses beauty and other qualities, she remains unmarried because of certain conflicts of interest between her and the parents. Now let's proceed to some textual analysis. As rich in cultural, thematic, and stylistic elements, here are some points that can be deduced from Mantanas-a Daungan. First is the use of metaphor and euphemism. The ballad or bayuk employs elaborate metaphors and euphemisms to express sensitive topics such as love, desire, and societal expectations. For instance, the description of Daungan's beauty and her unmarried state is done poetically, emphasizing her attributes while hinting at her longing for marriage. Number 2, cultural reflection on marriage and dowry practices. Daungan's parents prioritize financial stability, shown through their preference for a wealthy suitor rather than Tintiago, who, despite his virtues, lacks financial wealth. This undergoes the cultural significance of dowries or bantingan and the familial approval required for marriage, which sometimes conflicts with the individual's choice. Number 3, conflict between personal desire and familial duty. While she expresses her sentiments and readiness for marriage, her parents' insistence on financial qualifications over other qualities creates a barrier. This reflects a broader societal dynamic where women's choices are often mediated through their families' interests, which are sometimes driven by economic concerns rather than personal compatibility. Number 4, stylistic features of Bayuk. This oral tradition allows the ballad or Bayuk to be not only a form of entertainment, but also a method of transmitting cultural values and societal norms. The rhythmic repetition of Daungan's lament emphasizes the cyclical nature of her predicament, thereby creating a sense of her trapped state. Number 5, representation of gender roles. Daungan's situation highlights the societal expectation for women to marry and be valued primarily for their beauty and adherence to familial expectations. On the other hand, Tintiago represents the ideal male suitor who is educated and capable, and of course religious, yet he is still subject to the societal constraints of wealth and outward status. Now, the ballad subtly criticizes this system by showing the emotional turmoil it causes for both Daungan and Tintiago, indicating the restrictive nature of these gendered expectations. So, before we proceed to the summary and finally the conclusion, let me give you another taste of how Mantanas-a Daungan is actually recited. And this time, it is the final part of the Bayuk, wherein it is as if it's Tintiago that is speaking. Let's listen. And of course, enjoy.
Mantanas-a Daungan radai tatundung ka mama camadera acana pamadu pancakuru pamadu pancakita baramata usata galuga caput ca ineng geri ayara mapiam amaci kana apa dagang tanah kalau cawa alai keraya tadi katawan keramada dan copam aca kamara ceka daungan Nawina ho nanrawina nawina nur nanrawina nawina nanrawina nawina nanrawina pamikil kada ungang karapeti de pancut yoga wala balu dan capikilan rapagaya coba gumbung rapamaki kinak jati gata mencoba gumbayan ratanu cak kembali nanana tagan sekada ungang kata lama kaca ingat Maganang gana mapitan na magana kati buat camaya tak cagawingan
Okay, so that's the last portion of Mantanas-a Daungan as it is recited recently. Let me just point out that in this recitation, in an effort to Islamize the narrative instead of the original Dangagata, meaning let's elope, what is stated here is Mayanta sa Kawingan, which means uh, let us have the wedding. Of course, this is a separate discussion. which is not suitable this time of the presentation, as it is already it is just for 15 minutes actually. So, in summary, Mantanas-a Daungan is another piece of Maguindanaon Bayuk about courtship and marriage in a traditional Maguindanaon setup. It reflects on how Maguindanaon marriage culture often involves economic and social pressures, illustrating the tension between individual choice and familial duty, betrothal, and elopement. Despite the efforts of her suitor, Tintiago, the dowry and her parents' demands remain obstacles to their union. Now, to conclude the presentation, let me just borrow the words of Bangsamoro Cultural Heritage Commissioner Robert Maulana Alonto as his comment on the book about Maguindanaon Bayuk. In the constant assertion of our Bangsamoro identity, history and cultural heritage play a central role. For our history and cultural heritage, underpinned by our Islamic faith, attest to the nationhood of the Bangsamoro that makes it sui generis in the Philippine state setting. Bayuk allows us to rediscover in nostalgic context a wonderful tradition that speaks the richness of our cultural heritage, but also enthralls us with the inimitable artistic skills our ancestors communicated their stories by word of mouth in measured rhythmic tempo that have become an integral part of our indigenous traditional oral literature. And Mantanas-a Daungan is just a drop of this ocean called Bayuk. So as my concluding word, let me say, Ambayukatan Ulangon. Let's recite Bayuk all together. I thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.